Good morning, my fellow travelers on Spaceship Earth. It is I, and I am Guy, coming to you live from Applewood Station in Denver, Colorado, where it is a lovely 3 degrees Celsius out there. Kind of looking at that going, it's not so bad. Looks like we got another storm rolling in on Saturday, and until then, we're kind of doing our thing. Good morning, Brent. How are you this morning? Kind of moving right along, singing a song side by side. All that stuff. Figured I'd get on here and say hi to you. My supervisor is going to call me in a few minutes to discuss my performance review. So I'm not going to be able to hang out here for very long. I'm not really that worried about my performance review. Generally speaking, my performance review has been pretty much the same every time. The kids love you, you're great with the material, and you suck at your paperwork. And that's pretty much it. It seems to be that way all the time. No, it's all good. It is totally fine. Last night was pretty lively. I couldn't think of anything to do. We had Jackson here and a couple of other people who dropped in. And the drop-ins, I couldn't think of anything to do because I have to do the homework for Japanese, but part of it is listening. I have to listen to this video and transcribe it. And so that's what I've got to do. Well, I can't do that on air. So I was like, well, I can't do that on air, so I'll figure out some other time to do it. So I was like, I don't know what to do. And so these guys came on and they wanted me to draw a grilled cheese sandwich for them. So I did. One of them was making a grilled cheese sandwich. So that was fun. So it's all good. We just tootled along and did our thing. I'll be back on tonight again. But yeah, I mean, yesterday I did my first attempt at going to school on the bus or on the train. I guess it's on the trains. And because I don't actually really take any buses anywhere, but we call the RTD the bus. So I keep calling it the bus, even though we're discussing the trains. But yeah, went on the trains. That was pretty cool. I was able to get from here to there. It's a little bit hairy in the morning because here to there means I've got to get up at 6 so that I can be out of here by 6:30 or 6:45. I can probably push it to 6:15, but I don't think I can push past that. And tomorrow is going to be even worse because tomorrow I have to work. So after school, I come home, change clothes, and go to work. And then I do a 4-hour class in Denver. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing is I dig it. I just leave my car at the park and ride, which I found out that if you're in your district, like here's your zone that you can live in. If you are in your district, then you can park at the park and rides for free as long as it's not more than 8 hours or more than 10 hours, 12 hours, something like that. So I can get to the park and ride and just leave the car there for free. And then I've got the app now, which has my infinite ticket on it because I'm a student. So my ticket is on the app, and that's cool. And then let's see what else. Yeah, so I mean, like I bought the whole thing, right, for a single working day, which is what we were doing when I'm doing it. So I'll hop the light rail in and get to school, and I can make it across. The cool thing is, at the end of my last class, it's actually at the part of the campus that is the closest to the light rail station. So I start out the day very far away from the light rail station. My first class of the day is on the other side of campus. So it's a long haul all the way across the campus until I get to my first class. And then my second class is north. And then I go to the little, I have lunch at the commissary area or whatever. And then I have to come all the way back to the other side of campus, but it happens to be really close to the light rail. So once the day is over, I just tootle over to the light rail. And the best part about it is the trains are timed so nicely that I can walk to the train, pick up a train, get to the transfer point, transfer to the other train just as it's about to get out of there. I mean, I walked super fast and then had like 5 or 6 minutes to sit on the other line. So I'm taking the E to the G and then the G out. But I noticed that if I walk to normal pace, not super fast or super slow, I can make the transfer between the two lines. And then once I'm on the other line, then I can get the other line and it gets out here, and I'm typically here by like 2:40, 2:30. Good morning, Bames. So I can get here by about 2:40. And whenever I drove home, I would get here at like 2:20. So it's an extra 20 minutes, and that's about it from driving. And it saves me the parking, and it saves me all the pain in the butt, and so. Yep, Bames, I hate to say this, but this morning is going to be a short show because my supervisor is going to be calling in just a few minutes to discuss my performance review, which should read pretty much like it always reads, which is: the kids love you, you do great work, and I wish you'd do your paperwork better. Which is, well, I'm glad to see you as well. So that's what I'm thinking will happen here in a few minutes. But I'm going to have to get rolling. She's going to call and in just a few. But I figured I'd at least get on stream, chat with you guys for a minute or two. I'll be on again tonight at 9. So, you got a switcheroo going today, huh? That's actually good. So, anyway, apparently I can design temporary tattoos. Who knew? So, that's pretty cool. I found my old anime mixtape that I had made. I didn't make it. A buddy of mine made it. And he made this thing, and it's got all these songs on there. Some of I asked him to put because we'd just gotten into Bubblegum Crisis, and I was like, oh, this is the coolest thing that's ever existed. So he said, there are soundtracks to it. And I'm like, no, I didn't know that. That's so awesome. And so I gave him a cassette tape and said, hey, could you do me a favor? Would you put the Bubblegum Crisis soundtrack on there? And I would say, yeah, that's right. Ride the R. I love that. Oh, yeah. It's a great exercise. I'm getting a lot of exercise tootling back and forth across the campus all day long. So anyway, I had him put the Bubblegum Crisis soundtrack on there, and then he filled up the rest of the tape with just random things. He made me effectively an anime mixtape. And almost 25, 30 years later, 30, it must be more than that. Yeah, it's 30 years. It's almost 30 years later. I found the tape in a box, and So the A stops at a station that's probably, I want to say it's about a half a mile from the Gaylord. So it's still a little long for just your average walk, especially if you're carrying everything. But the Gaylord has a shuttle. So, hey Hattie, good to see you. This is a short show this morning, Hattie. I've got a performance review here in a few minutes with my boss, so I'm gonna have to bomb out here in a second. I've got about 7 or 8 more minutes. They do have a shuttle and it works. So anyway, cool thing I just discovered was that I found this anime mix thing, and I have this guy here, which is a Walkman, but it has a USB out on this side, so I could just hook it straight into the USB. And that's its entire job, is to convert old cassette tapes. So I took it and I converted it, and I've been listening to it. It's been kind of fun because it's like this very nostalgic, lovely listening to my anime mix from 1991 thing, 1992. The thing that's really cool about it is that was the tape that I played to death when I was in college the first time round. And so I would go to the library and I'd sit in the library and I would do my homework. And I'd listen to this on my Walkman, the good old fashioned Walkman that they used to have 100 years ago, which I still have in a box over there, my original Walkman. So I wonder if I could just clean it up. Yeah, it was good study music, and I just sat there and listened to it, especially since my classes at the time were Japanese classes, so listening to Japanese music helped. But I made an MP3 of it, static and all, and it's wonderful. So now I have this MP3 of the tape, so I can just listen to the MP3 of the tape instead of having to listen to the tape. It's kind of funny, but I've been having a blast with that. So that's been good. All right, guys, we've got about 3 more minutes. Then we're going to bail. So tonight I've got to work on a project. My bioanthropology class has what she calls an unessay. And she's like, you can do whatever you want to do with it. Anything's fine. She wants to know that I know the subject matter. So I've got to do something with that. And I was thinking of doing some Springs comics or something like that sort of have the characters talking about the subject matter in question and making jokes about it, because I think she'd appreciate that and she'd think it was funny. So that's the battle plan. But that's due on Friday. So we've got a couple of things that are due tonight, and then a couple of things that are due tomorrow, and then a couple of things that are due on Friday. And I've got to make sure I get all of those things in. The things tonight and on Friday are all Japanese worksheets, so that's not going to be hard. But the unessay is going to be an important one to bring my grade up, because right now I have a C. And the only reason I have a C is because I've only turned in 1 lab, and I've never done labs before, so I guess I didn't do it the way I was supposed to or something. So I'll figure out what I did wrong and we'll fix it, and then it won't be a problem. So there. 1 minute. 1 minute remains, guys. So anyway, that's where we are. That's tonight's thing. We'll be probably doing a whole bunch of cute cute strips for Springs. So tune in for spring strips. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but tune in for those. We'll figure it out. So, I'm sure it's going to be just fine. I'm hoping for a raise. That'd be ideal. The last 2 reviews ago or whatever it was, we'd give you a raise, but we don't have enough money. And I was like, aw. And so I'm hoping somewhere they'll give me a raise. A raise would be good. I'd like a raise. So it'd all be cool. So, yep. Anyway, guys, time for me to bow out. It was good to see you all again. I'll be on again tonight at 9 p.m. Mountain Time. So I'm hoping to see you guys there. Have a good evening or a good day, and good evening if you're on the other side of the globe. And remember to keep your eyes on the stars. Goodbye.